He's a very rude young man.
Because he said I was a drunken slut, and my husband said that's okay.
Oh, what an understanding man.
Yes, he's a dear person.
Very
he
understanding.
He listens to you all the time and calls me up to me.
There's a God. Speaking for God, I think he's going to be a little bit angry. One other thing, and there's so many comments I wanted to make.
Well, let me jump in on one thing. I had a couple of weeks ago a man that thought he had finally beat me, and he was going to destroy me with his logic, and he said something to the effect of, if you jumped out of an airplane and your parachute didn't open, I guarantee you would pray to God. And I responded something to the effect of, well, I'm not so sure about that, but there is one thing I can guarantee you. And he said, what's that? And I said, it wouldn't do any good. Gary McHenry with a WFLA traffic report. Hello, Gary.
How are you, Papa?
Fine, Gary. How is the traffic?
This is Gary in Tampa Bay.
No, you're supposed to hesitate for a moment to give me a chance to say Tampa Bay.
I was going to say I'm
or at least say it at the same time. Okay, go ahead, Gary.
We have had a couple of...
Show 9909.
Wanted to live in the city of Seattle, Washington, because we thought it was so beautiful.
Yes.
Well, I grew up there.
Uh-huh.
And I can tell you what we used to say about summer. That was a nice summer we had that day in August.
Son of a gun.
The rest of the time it rains.
Uh-huh.
But it's a dry rain.
A dry rain.
Yeah. It doesn't pour.
Doesn't pour.
It comes down misty and foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just be freezing all the time. That's the general story.
Mm-hmm.
And it is beautiful country. I grant you that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the nicest place to live.
What do you think about lesbian priests, Eleanor?
What?
What do you think about lesbian priests?
About what?
Lesbian priests.
I don't think about anything about priests.
Oh, okay.
I didn't understand what you said.
Well, do you think that lesbians should be inducted into the priesthood?
If they want to be, it's all right with me.
Okay.
I don't care.
Well, people from
believe
Seattle
in
are
any
generally
church.
very liberal.
I just don't believe in any church,
Okay.
even though I was brought up in one.
How about lesbian teachers? Are they okay?
Not really. I had some experiences with a couple.
You did?
Yeah, because I was a teacher, too.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a pain in the neck.
Ooh.
They were, to the other teachers on the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Because they
What, they used to try to pick you up and date you and
not
things like
pick us up so much as they would. We had to watch them to see they didn't pick up the kids.
Hmm.
That was what we had to watch.
Did they ever?
Hmm?
Did they ever succeed?
I don't know. I didn't
Did they ever
didn't
try
hang
it?
around that. I was only there 10 years, thank God. And that was in back here in this country.
Back here in this country?
Yeah.
Did you used to live in another country, too?
No, I just lived in Washington, the state of Washington. I was born and brought up there. Went to college there.
Uh-huh.
And all that sort of thing. And it rains, and it rains, and it rains. And as I said, we always used to say, it was a nice summer we had that one day in June or July.
Well, at least apparently, I guess it kept the lesbian teachers indoors.
Well,
Easier to watch them.
we didn't have any lesbian teachers in the state of Washington, not that I knew
There
of.
are no lesbian teachers? What is it, against the law up there or something?
I don't know. I guess they just weren't happy there.
Too much rain for them.
Probably.
Yeah, lesbians do tend to like sunshine.
You always
Yeah.
wore your raincoat,
Yeah.
but it was always... you go to a football
The
game
lesbian
and somebody
teachers wore
had an
raincoats?
umbrella that was behind you,
Well,
that dripped
what-
down the back of your neck.
But what did they wear? You mean they wore raincoats and flashed people?
Well, no. You'd wear a raincoat when you went to a football game. And the people sitting behind you had umbrellas.
Uh-huh.
And that would drip down the back of your neck.
Uh-huh.
And then the people sitting in the row below you always had an umbrella up, and that dripped down your neck, down your lap.
Uh-huh.
It was jolly. I am very glad to not live in the state of Washington.
I can well understand that. Well, thanks for checking in, Eleanor.
That's okay.
Take
I
care.
just thought that woman has got a lot to learn.
Oh, we all do, Eleanor. Thank you ever so much. 461-9352 in Pinellas. I wonder what the next call will bring us. Surely it'll be some great heavy issue. Bill from Port Richey. Hi there, Bill. You're on the air at WFLA.
Good morning, Bob. This
Hi.
is Bill.
In Port Richey.
Thank you. Taxi driver referred it to.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you, Bob,
when I got into town, it's like you turn the clock back 100 years. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Oh, hold on a second,
It's
please.
just unbelievable. I don't know if your wife has ever been to Dubuque or not.
Mary, have you ever been to Dubuque?
Dubuque?
Yes, have you ever been there?
Yes, a couple of times.
Well, Mary will know what it's like, Grim. It's like the city, like time stopped.
Yeah, that's right. Did you go over the bridge into East Dubuque?
Yes, I went. I was in a restaurant there called the General, and I asked how it got that name, and they said evidently that General Grant was born down the road in Illinois, just a little ways away.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's what they were referring to.
Well, it's kind of a quaint little town, don't you think?
It's quaint and little, but I just couldn't get used to. I'd never seen a town that old. It was like you woke up in a time machine.
Well, I think they like it. Excuse me. I think they like it that way.
Yeah.
They've got some kind of a car that goes up the side of the bluff. Was that still there when you were there?
No, I didn't see anything like that.
But you're right. There's a lot of old buildings, and there's a lot of history there.
No, I was going to tell Bob, if he's going to go there to Iowa, if it's like Dubuque and he wants to be successful, on his way home today, get a brochure from John Deere so he can kind of educate himself to a conversation down there.
Well, you know, I do have a Burpee Seed baseball cap that they sent me that I'm going to wear.
Wear that.
Mm-hmm.
Drink Scotch and Coke.
Scotch and Coke?
Yep, that's what they drink. Order Iowa beef.
Mary, is that true?
Oh, we always used to drink whiskey and squirt, you know,
Whiskey and
down
squirt.
in my neck of the woods. There's
Squirt.
Quatsies.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. That was a
spoon.
grapefruit-flavored drink.
Oh, all the family would get together, and it would either have whiskey sweet or whiskey sour. And
Another thing, too, Mary, I'd never heard of Iowa beef before. It seems like that was the conversation there was...
You got to be
enjoy this
kidding.
meat, it's
You've
Iowa
never
beef.
heard of Iowa beef? Iowa beef is...
the best.
Yeah.
I'm from Michigan and never heard of Iowa beef.
No, they probably tried to keep it quiet up there.
It's unbelievable. We went into this...
Unbelievable
Iowa
indeed.
beef is
Bob,
free.
Yeah,
listen
yes,
to this.
yes, Bill.
We went into this bar. It was at night. I took a cab, like I said, from the airfield. And I was going to meet him at this bar. It was called Kelly's. It was downtown Dubuque. So I walk in, and it's about 10 o'clock at night. My eyes kind of clear. There's
Well, what? 1 second, Bill. Mary, I hear barking in the background. Is that Sophie?
Oh, of course it is.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Bill.
Anyways, I'm sitting in the bar waiting for this guy, and all of a sudden my eyes clear. There's a fellow sitting next to me in a plaid shirt, and I notice on the bar he's got a generator dripping with oil, and he said to me, he says, "You ever seen one of these before?" And I said, "Well, no, I haven't seen one in a bar. You know, I've seen it's a generator, isn't it?" He said, "Yeah, it's off a Ford tractor." So he started asking me about different parts of it. Well, anyways, to make a long story short,
Please.
Mary, here's the punchline to this whole thing.
Okay.
There's a doctor there, so when my brother-in-law, or this friend of mine came in anyways, he had his brother-in-law with him. And he said, "Bill, this is Dr. Stork." And I says, "You got to be kidding. I know what the next punchline is." What kind of a doctor is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's an obstetrician
No
Son of a
kidding.
gun. In Dubuque.
in Dubuque, Iowa.
Hey, well, thanks, Bill.
Hey, Bob, anyways, you know, get down to basics there, because these people are really down to basics.
Oh, this show is down to basics, too, Bill.
And get a John Deere brochure so you can talk sense.
Will do. I'll talk.
Oh, another thing, too, Bob. You know what his mother gave me just as I got on the plane?
Can't begin to imagine.
And you'll probably get one, too. It's everything in life I ever wanted.
Yeah.
She said, "Take this squash home to your family."
Oh, great. Well, we love squash.
Oh, do you?
Thanks a lot, Bill. We appreciate the call. Thanks, Mary, for handling those calls about Iowa. If I get any more, can I, feel free to call back?
Oh, certainly. I'm not exactly an expert, but I'll do my best.
Okay. Thanks, Mary.
Okay.
Maybe you, too, have calls about Iowa. Well, I have a wife who is from Iowa, and she's home today, and she can answer them for you. It's been shocking enough today. I haven't said shocking things. Oh, God, what could I say that's shocking? Ovaries and testicles, huh? Is that going to do the trick?
I was just curious why the market, or why the radio stations, yours or your former employer, why don't they, now that you're number one, as you've been for some time, why don't they pitch you against David on the other station?
That would be a very foolish thing to do.
Well, and
Fowler and I, first of all, share a fair number of... let's try that again. Fowler and I share a fair amount of audience together.
Mm-hmm.
From roughly 50 to 60% of the people that listen to me also listen to Fowler.
No kidding.
And vice versa, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be very, very stupid.
Yeah. I was just curious. I know it's like on television, they rarely pit one and two against each other either. You know, when you got the rated shows, they usually don't put them opposite one another, is what I'm saying.
And insofar as, my moving 9 to noon, I wouldn't do it flatly because I don't like getting up that early.
I asked him the same thing, and he said that some people function better, at different times of the day.
Frankly, noon is too early for me.
Yeah.
I would much prefer to be on starting at 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
You're too shocking for the morning.
Well, you don't know what shellacking is until you've heard me in the morning. It's very, very dull. It takes me many, many hours to wake up.
Yeah.
When I worked at night at PLP, I still got up between 7:30 and 8 o'clock every morning.
Over there.
Which is, roughly the time I get up now.
Mm-hmm.
And I need all the time I can get.
Yeah. Okay, well, that pretty much answers my question.
Okay.
Have a good day.
It's too late for that, Walter.
I'm having some problems with my girlfriend I've been living with for 4 years. She's pregnant. She's due any time now.
Uh-huh.
We've had some problems in the last year, and it's gone to a physical part of the relationship as far as fighting is concerned. She slapped me last week.
Yeah.
It was not the first time. I've never laid my hands on her, but I've told her that if you've ever hit me again, I'm going to slap you back, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's going around telling all her friends that I'm a wife beater, basically, and it's got me really upset. And we're going to start going to counseling and so forth. I'd like to know how people feel, out there in the audience about this, about men hitting women back. I mean, I've been told by police officers who've been in the business for 21 years, they said they don't feel too sorry for women because sometimes they push a man to a point where they might end up hitting that woman. Some guys have higher tolerance than others, and I feel I do. And I've ended up punching walls before, breaking things, but I've never laid my hands on her until that day. And I slapped her back for the first time in 4 years. And she's busted my lip. She's scratched my chest before. She's pulled my hair. She's done this in public. And
well, first of all, Ron, why do you hang around with somebody who physically abuses you?
Well, I love her very much. I just, the bottom line is I love her very much, and I know there's some light there in the dark. Somewhere there's hope for us. We are going to have a child.
Ron, if you want my honest opinion, it sounds to me like you don't like yourself very much.
I love
you're kidding
myself.
yourself into thinking you love her very much.
Oh, I like myself. I do. We've been through a very hard road financially, and I'm a musician, and I just got back from New York, and I just got signed with RSO Records, and we're going to be getting some front money for the group here, and it looks very promising for us as far as financially, the financial aspect of the relationship. But now we have the communication problem that we're going through. We don't know how to argue, basically. When we start arguing, she will make her point, her opinion, and get her point across, but she won't stop. She'll keep on and she'll keep on. And sometimes I was told, please, can you be quiet? And then that be quiet will become, I'll start saying, shut up, please, shut up. Don't stand in my way. And we're going to start going to counseling for this, to learn how to communicate. And but the bottom line is, I'm really tired of people coming up to me and saying, you hit your wife or your girlfriend, and you shouldn't do that. And so, well, I know it's wrong, but she used to hit me all the time. And,
how soon are you going to start counseling, Ron?
Excuse me?
How soon are you going to start counseling?
Monday,
good. I mean, This is something, an appointment is set up.
Oh, yes.
It's not something you're just
go there
talking
11:30.
Hello? Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to think of what to say to you. If you're going to start counseling on Monday, then I'm not going to say anything to you. If you were just talking about it, I was going to encourage you to get there as fast as you possibly can. There's obviously something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's something terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah, well, there is. I also, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of nervous to be on the radio. And listen, I'm a musician too, and I play in front of crowds here. When I hit her, she came out and she lashed at me that I was not a man. I think that's the worst thing that a woman could do to a man is to tell him. And
they're just words, man.
Yeah.
So
well, I know it's anger, but it hurts a lot. I moved. she's trying to control my life outside the home now. I'm living on a golf course. I'm paying high rent there, and she's trying to tell me how to live, how to spend my money, and so forth. And but I know there's some hope there. There is some hope there, and I'm going to try. I'm not going to throw away.
What has kept you together with a woman for 4 years if you don't have any real communication, if you can't quite seem to agree, if you aren't making mutual decisions? I mean, you just spoke about trying to tell you how to spend your money and where to live and so forth and so on. What has kept you together for 4 years, man?
Well, we're Latin. I guess in Latin, relationships are always hot, good and bad. And I think it's just love. I know we love each other. I know we love each other very much. And I used to think maybe we would.
How could you hit somebody you loved, Ron?
Excuse me?
How could you hit and potentially hurt someone that you love? Physically hurt someone that you love? How could you do that? Are you sure you know what love is?
Oh, I know what love is. I'm sure. I guess sometimes people get a little out of hand and so forth. And she's, like I said, I've never hit her before. It was my first time I ever slapped a woman. And, but I know we can work it out. I know we can do it. But I like to know, from the audience, how they feel about a guy who's been with someone and they've slapped her back and
ask Ron and you shall receive. John in Clearwater, hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bob. Ron.
Yes.
First of all, I'll tell you how I feel about it, and then I'll tell you, what you're saying is an absolute reflection of experiences in my life. I don't feel good about men hitting women simply from the biological, physical aspect of it. We're stronger, the whole 9 yards.
I
don't need to expand any further. But at the same time, women in this day and age demand equal rights, equal pay, equal jobs, the whole bit. I don't want to get off on that. But if a woman provokes you, deliberately provokes you in an attempt to elicit a response from you, and as I said, I've had this happen to me, and if I get struck directly in the face, there comes a time when you have to, I'm sorry, I did it. I hit her back. And you know what happened was initially she broke down and declared the relationship over, but after she simmered down and had time to think about it, she realized what had happened, what had taken place.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say this, Ron, you sound like a very compassionate, understanding person.
Well, thank you.
And I like to think of myself the same way. But there comes a time when you can't just lay down and let these things,
Why not?
Well?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So why should a brute hit someone who is much, much weaker physically?
Absolutely.
What are we talking about here? We're talking about machoism. Oh, you hit me in the face. Oh, you challenged my manhood, so I'm going to beat you up.
Well,
come on, guys.
Oh, but it's not like that at all.
Right.
It's not like that at all. She's hit me before, and I've held her down. I said, please don't hit. Please do not hit. And I got to a point where she kept on hitting, and I said, listen, I'm going to put my foot down. I'm not going to be your doormat anymore, and I do love you, but if you lay your hands on me again, I will slap you back.
Right.
And there was a warning, please do not lay your hands on me again, and she did.
Ron, the instance where in public, did she strike you in public?
She has grabbed me in public, not she
didn't hit
you.
you.
She didn't strike me.
Well, in my own life, I experienced the exact same thing, and it is a direct attempt to humiliate you, knowing that you will not retaliate physically. And I would not be an advocate of retaliation in public. But it sounds to me like your dearest has a severe problem with immaturity.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me like we got 4 people here with a severe problem in immaturity, if you really want to know the truth, guys.
Bob, you need to understand something, too, that I grew up with Latin people, and I understand their lineage and their heritage.
That's an excuse.
Wait a second, Bob. I'm not sitting here trying to legitimize what goes on in the Latin community, okay? All I'm trying to say is that cultures differ, and the way that people deal with social situations differ through the social strata. And you can't deny it. Just because it happens doesn't necessarily make it right.
No, it's not right at all, and I'm not trying to make excuses for my Latin race. Actually, I'm Latin. I don't speak Spanish. I was raised in an Italian neighborhood up in New York. And, well, there you go. There's Latin there, too, and they do it. I've never been around couples who've hit before, and it's really shocking to me when I hear other couples talking about, well, me and Johnny, we got into a fight, and we started hitting each other, and then they're laughing about it, and I found it very disgusting. And when we got to that point, when she slapped me and I slapped her back, I felt very, very sad about it, the whole situation. And then she told me, "You're not a man. You're not a man. You hit me. Well, you know, Lynn, you hit me first. Well, you hit me, and that's it. You know, man, who could ever love you?"
Sounds like a conversation between, you know, and a 4-year-old.
You know, well,
You know, that you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head, Bob. There comes a time when, during the course of an argument between two people that love one another, there are certain ground rules that you have to follow so that it doesn't degenerate into a brawl. And these is one last thing that I wanted to share with you, Ron, before I get off the air, is that if the counselor doesn't stress this to you, by the way, and I'm sharing this with you, if the counselor doesn't share this with you, you need to tell this to your dearest, that the ground rules for the argument are, number one, you stick to the issue at hand. Number two, you don't resort to character assassination, because that will degenerate the argument into a brawl quicker than anything for
definitely.
me. And finally, number three, if you come to a disagreement, you agree to disagree, and then take up the discussion at a time.
Did you ever hear about taking a walk around the block or getting out and getting in a car and going away for an hour?
Oh, I used to do that. I'm leaving. I have to go away. I got to drive. And the first thing she would say, "Go ahead, leave me. Go ahead."
Yeah.
Or if I slammed the door, otherwise she would antagonize me, and she'll keep on, and I will walk out and slam the door. And when I come back, "Oh, you were acting really stupid," and she would continue. And it's like there's no ending with this woman. She has to learn to stop. There's a certain time in an argument where it has to stop, cool down, take a cold shower, do something, and then continue in a low volume and start all over again and try to settle the situation. But, you know, a lot of yelling and a lot of
this is incredible. It sounds like you're speaking my life all over again. But I tell you how I dealt with it in my own life, and by all means, it's not perfect now. But we finally got to the point where we did lay down the ground rules for an argument. Now, I have a volatile, tempestuous relationship with my wife, but as it is with you, and I'm sure you can commiserate, that when it is good, it is so good. But when it is bad, it is horrendous. It's hell.
Yeah.
And, Bob, I don't know if you've ever lived with an abusive woman before, but if that won't drive you to getting physical, there isn't hardly anything that will. Ron, I wish you the best of luck, buddy.
Well, thank you very much.
I think that.
And thank you, Bob. I am going to counseling, and we're going to go to counseling, and we're going to try to work this out, because maybe we are acting like children.
Good luck, gentlemen. You're both talking about something of which I just have no experience, and I'm appalled.
Later, Bob.
Be good.
Bye-bye.
9909. Don't go far. 3 more hours yet to go. Shocking Bob Lassiter, the most shocking man in Tampa Bay. Working on a Saturday afternoon, my goodness, I tell you, we're just having all kinds of fun here, fielding questions on Iowa, wife beating, saying shocking things, too, like eat snot. That's pretty shocking, isn't it? Of course it is. And, we're giving, psychic readings, things like that, checking with people in local bars, having a grand old time. Let me give you the top.
But I get a kick out of a lot of your shows. And I just wanted to ask you, counselor, since you were counseling a little while ago, how do you have the patience? Don't you get bored stiff with some of these calls, Bob?
Oh, I get bored stiff with virtually every call, Jenny, but you must understand that my MasterCard and my Visa card, the payments, the monthly payments are just horrendous.
Well,
oh, very, very large. Very large.
Well, all I wanted to say is I like you. I just love you. And mostly I wanted to tell you, one time I was listening to Ted, and he had some show on about what turns you on, about people, you know. Well, I wanted to call in and tell him that for me it is voices, you know, a nice voice. And I wanted to call in and tell him that it was your voice, because, Bob, you do have a nice, nice voice. I couldn't get through. I waited until my kitchen timer went off, and I had to go and fix it, so I never did get to tell Ted Webb that. But I just wanted to tell you, since I finally got through, that you have a nice voice.
Well, when I see Ted on Monday, I'll tell him that. For you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Next, we go to a phone booth across the street from an EMS garage and say hello to Lionel. Hi, Lionel.
For crying out loud, Bob, what the hell do you think I have, all day?
Well, what else do you have to
Another
do?
question. Let me ask you another question.
What?
This Tampa Bay Weekly rag that came out?
Are you referring to that fine publication?
That piece of crap.
Piece of crap.
That they
Fine
tried to put
publication. Far
printing
superior to most others.
Inferior. I mean,
Better
my
than the
God,
New York
they have
Times.
a bunch of microcephalic dolts hitting the
Better
printing
than the
press.
Kansas City Examiner.
Who was the one? Who was the
Better
person?
than the Kansas Carrier Post.
Who was the one who gave them the list of all of the regular callers? Who was that? Did you do that, Bob?
No, Lionel.
Why was I
actually,
left out of that?
the gentleman who wrote the article, Bob Andelman, listens to the program.
Bob Andelman?
Bob Andelman.
Bob Andelman, if you're listening, may you get some kind of a congenital genital disease.
I think he's actually going to get a Pulitzer for writing it.
Pulitzer. I spit on this Pulitzer. It shows me one of two things. Either someone is jealous, and I know who it is, or the person doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I was the first one in this area. Shut up. And how you had the guts to go on television is beyond me.
What do you mean how I had the guts to go on television? What are you talking about?
Oh, come on. They're going to know who you are now. They're going to know who you are. I mean, it's ridiculous. That was the worst. Channel 44 did the worst piece on talk radio. Who should they be concentrating on? Not you. You don't do it.
What do you mean not me, man? I'm hot. I am hot, baby. I'm really hot.
Crap about the next great beacon in the talk show. The hell with it. The callers do it. And Bob Andelman, if you're listening, you pusillanimous twit, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because there's some of us.
Just because he was left out of the article.
Longer than you have. Longer than you have and longer than Bob Andelman has. And it makes me sick when I read about it.
Yeah, because you weren't
Rocky,
listed.
Buckhead gets billing over me more.
Peggy got billing over him.
No, Peggy I like.
Well, I like Peggy too.
I don't have any problem. That's okay, Peggy. Carolyn, I don't mind. Captain Jack.
Yeah, isn't he
Jack
great?
off and
Captain
Rockhead
Jack is good.
get it over me. I was here before they were. I'm the institution. I'm the one who started this whole crap. Callers before me had no identity whatsoever. They were this innocuous.
Oh, this is shameful. This is embarrassing. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for this. This is just...
Now, let me tell you another thing that drives me crazy, okay? Andelman, I hope something happens to you in the bathtub. Now, another thing, too, is it's amazing the way your colleagues, your peers, and I use that term lightly, on other stations are so jealous that they were, and I can understand it, having just broken into a vituperative tirade over having been left out, but I deserve it, they don't. But it's amazing when you hear your colleagues, people who are ostensibly professional cohorts of yours, who are so upset by your fame. I think it's amazing. And what about
Well, that's because they know things that you don't know.
And what about your friend at WFLA?
My friend? Do I have a friend at WFLA?
The lizard who had to walk outside and say, I can't take 4 hours and talk about masturbation. What? Isn't there a spirit of camaraderie at Fa-La-La? Come on, what is this?
Camaraderie in talk radio? You don't understand talk radio, Lionel. I don't care how long you've been calling, but I don't think you understand life, Lionel. You see, in life, it doesn't matter whether or not you succeed. It's if your friends fail. That's the only important thing in life, Lionel.
Well, you have no friends over there. And what I would
I don't have any friends anyplace, Lionel, because I hang around with people like you.
Doesn't Peter Handy Dandy, doesn't he get his people and say, hey, don't talk about Bob? The whole station is pulling for you. Don't you understand what you're doing? You're going to be the phoenix. It's going to rise out of the ashes through you.
The ashes?
So what do? They put on this little twit, this spineless amoeba, who stands outside and says, I don't want to talk about masturbation for 4 hours. You couldn't masturbate for 4 hours.
Well, I've never tried.
Finally, how dare you?
I may try someday.
How dare you?
But I haven't to this point.
You've yanked the crank. Don't give me that.
Not for 4 hours. Come on, man. I'm 42 years old. What the hell do you want?
You've never masturbated for 4 hours? Come on, try it. Try it. Just watch TV and try it at the same time. You know, you're not really sure what you're doing. You can go on for 12 weeks doing that. Bob Spangler's done it. Bob Spangler dodged. Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
What amazes me is how dare you put on 2 wife beaters Wife beaters sitting there slapping each other in the back.
You don't understand. The only other call I had wanted to talk about Iowa.
I beat the crapper. I wanted to hear about Iowa. There are some Iowanians out here who think that's a fascinating subject. And what do? You put on Mengele and Eichmann, two curs, two poor examples of masculinity, who go around and get their jollies by knocking the hell out of women. And they're sitting on the on the radio.
Lionel, you don't understand the fine points of shock radio. No one is shocked when you're talking about Iowa.
And you do?
Obviously.
Oh, you do? The most shocking man in Tampa Bay?
Eat snot. Huh? That's pretty shocking, right? The Pope wears dresses. Ha ha ha! Got you on that one, didn't I?
Your mother's a virgin. That's my favorite.
Oh.
But, Bob, how can you let these people on? How can you let these people on? It sounds like something Rocky would do. Or Captain Jack. Knock the hell out of a woman.
Well, Lionel, when I went to that call, actually I had two calls on hold besides that one. I had the person that wanted to talk about Iowa, and I had you.
Don't give me that crap, because I called you afterwards.
Okay, so I lied.
Spangler can verify it. Let me tell you something. You know why you don't like the idea of wife beating? Because you'd kill some woman. You're a behemoth, a gargantuan, a leviathan. You're huge. These people are
I have thought about, lawyer beating, though.
These people are probably of the diminutive size of your cohort at FLA who doesn't like to masturbate for 4 hours, or another little wormy cohort.
He didn't say, wait a second, let's set the record straight here, Lionel.
What?
He said nothing about, I don't like to masturbate for 4 hours. What he said was, I don't like to listen to talk about masturbation for 4 hours.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. It just shows me that there's no spirit of camaraderie there at WFLA.
There's no spirit of camaraderie in radio. Where do you people come from thinking that we're all friends?
On the record, say it, Bob. Have the guts. What's his name is jealous of you, right?
Lionel, no matter where you go in this industry, if you're talking about talk radio, there are 250 jobs and 251 people who can do it.
Okay. And for every light on Broadway, there's a broken heart.
Really?
Terrific. Let's pour out one aphorism after another. You're saying that
Prefer Kahlua.
that guy...
Aphorism's too tart for me. Yes?
Don't do that to me.
Don't do what?
Because
I'm not touching you.
I'll come in there and I'll slap you, okay?
Whoa.
All right? Now, listen to what I'm saying.
See if you'll ever get into any of my articles. I mean, I've got one coming up in the St. Pete Times. I've got one coming up in the Tampa
who's writing
Tribune.
that?
I'm not going to mention you.
That communist rag, you know why?
You know, when they ask me, Lionel, who's your favorite caller, you know what I'm going to say?
I know who it is.
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack. And let me tell you something. You're going to get into your Volkswagen one day, and there's going to be gelatin in the crankcase.
Ooh.
Little things. They're going to be dead
I had gelatin in my
doorstep.
crankcase once.
I'm going to go over and let your wife meet a real man. Not me, of course, but a friend of mine named Lucius. Don't play around with me, Bob. Remember something. All of us live here. We've been here for years. You're transient. You come through.
You don't live here, Lionel. You exist here.
I'm a dozen.
Oh, yeah, right, sure.
I am the true embodiment of the sun. I am a tampon. I am Floridian. I am the walrus. True. Here I am.
Shove it.
You foreigners come through here thinking you're smarter than we are because you talk funny and all this. Let me tell you something. The minute we don't like you people, you're through. We got rid of Mike Levine. We got rid of Jack Wheeler. We get rid of anybody we don't want. So don't push it,
Then how can you explain Coles?
How can I explain AIDS? How can I explain Down syndrome? Mutations, my friend. Do you think that the radio population is totally exempt from this? He satisfies a group of people, a substratum of people that you can't do.
Come on. Haven't you ever seen him? He couldn't satisfy anybody.
You know, for somebody who's such an expert, a self-styled prophet of talk radio, you apparently are you have a dearth of knowledge. He
Don't you dare talk about my girth. I've seen you.
No. You're beautiful. Let me tell you something. Coles has his place. Mengele had his place. Eichmann had his place. Even Bob Spangler, for crying out loud, has his place. Everybody's got their place. And you'll never be able to get into that market.
Do you have your place?
You better believe it.
Why don't you crawl back into it then?
Oh, I know. What? I feel the button coming now, Bobby.
Oh, do you?
Are you gonna push me off into radio oblivion?
Why would I want to do that,
Just
Lionel?
give me one last word at the St. Pete Times if you know what the hell you're talking about next time. Now, granted, Rockhead, I understand, he's got his place. I understand it. But if you're going to write an article, and you want to write an article about the people who truly make this medium what it is,
Oh, what
and
belly
you have
aching.
the unmitigated gall to refuse to mention moi, the king, the one who made this all possible, then fine. You'll never be the great. And don't yawn at me. And I hope your squeaky chair breaks. And I hope you get checks that bounce for all the fun that come in to try to buy you a new chair. Oh, you miserable. All right, Bob. You'll never be big. Goodbye, Bob.
Goodbye. That sounds, that sounds very final,
I'm
Lionel.
going to go vomit now, Bob. I'm going to go vomit, okay?
Why?
Because you and this crap make me sick when I got another call. It's an ambulance calling. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Lionel. Fellas, Carl in St. Pete. Hi, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yes, this is Carl Williams.
In St. Pete.
Over in St. Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I almost dropped the telephone. I was trying to do my nails and wait for my turn.
Trying to do your nails while waiting for your turn?
Yeah, I think I just ruined a nail by dropping the telephone.
Pshaw.
Oh, darn. What is all this stuff about an article? What article?
Well, there was an article that came out, I think it was on Wednesday, in a relatively new tabloid called the Tampa Bay Weekly, and Lionel wasn't mentioned in it, and, obviously you heard that really upset him.
Oh, his bowels were really in an uproar. I can't imagine anyone not mentioning Lionel in a column about talk radio. That's unheard of.
Well, I mean, come on, Lionel's a loser. Latched himself on with Shanks for years. Shanks never got any press, so they never mentioned him. Then he latched himself on with Coles. Coles never gets any press except when they fire him. And, was never mentioned in any of their articles. So then he tried to latch on with me. Bam, I get articles, and Lionel's not mentioned.
Bob Andelman, he used to write for the
Tampa Tribune. Yeah, he used to do the radio column.
And now he's with this other paper. Well, I knew I'd spoken to Bob Andelman. I don't know how come I got mentioned. I spoke to someone else, though, about you from the St. Petersburg Times. Maybe that's another article.
You're talking about Cheryl James?
Yeah, that's the one.
How did Cheryl James get in touch with you? I didn't think. I don't even know your. Well, yes, I do know your last name, but I don't know your phone number or where you live or anything. I have no idea how she got in touch.
I sent out a few smoke signals from the backyard, and she picked them up.
Ah.
You see, there are more things going on behind the scenes than man dreams of. What is all that noise?
It's Joe's phone company, those great lines. Oh, my God, you're more than a block away, Peggy. You want clear lines?
There we are. I cleared the line.
Oh, okay.
You see how much power there is? Well, I would have thought that anyone... I'll tell you my favorite caller. I like Lionel, I like Carolyn, I like all of them. But I think that Mary Ann deserves a column all of her own.
Well, I hope that Mary Ann continues to call this program.
Oh, she is fantastic.
She continues to call the program. The New York Times will do
so much. He's been shot at. He's had cancer, and his dear wife Nancy has had cancer. And I just don't understand how you can pick on him the way that you do. We should stand behind our president and get behind him and support him, not tear him down like you're all...
Well, the woman just has no concept of how to get ratings.
It's just marvelous, and she goes on, and it's just great listening. I like Mary Ann. All day, all night, Mary Ann. Maybe we could have a whole program.
Seaside, sifting sand. Uh-oh.
Chicken.
What do you mean chicken? It's the end of the hour. I don't control the time. Maybe you can, control the phone lines, but I can't control the time, Peggy.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Peggy. God, the callers are testy this afternoon. Whoa! NBC News coming your way. 2 more hours yet to go. Please, whatever you do not venture very far. You never know who else is going to throw a hissy fit and call in because they weren't mentioned in my article.
Something else.
Thank you, Marie.
I think she's going to be another whatchamacallit,
Yeah, another whatchamacallit. Thanks, Marie. Bye-bye. One line open in Pinellas. You didn't hear me. I said there were 3 lines open in Hillsborough. This should be choice. God in St. Petersburg. Hello, God.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. I would have thought you would have known that.
Well, I wanted to hear it from your own lips.
Ah.
I
would have thought that you would have known I would have said that.
Well, I didn't want to embarrass you or anything. I know I don't make public appearances very often. I feel very strange talking on the radio. But I have a few answers here, a few questions if anybody wanted to know about so stuff like...
Well, again, God, I would have thought that you would have known whether or not anyone wanted to know.
Well, the thing is, everything is a manifestation of people's own will, so sometimes even I don't know what they're going to do. They surprise the hell out of me every day. I thought some of the more often questions I hear are, why me, God? Why is the weather this way? Are Jimmy and Tammy Bay Faker real or evil? Are TV evangelists evil? How did Billy Graham become so famous? Is it evil to be rich? Is Bob Lassiter good or evil? Is there life after death? What about pollution, war, etc.? Are gurus evil? What is truth? Is reincarnation true? And what is the meaning of life? I hear that one the most often. Are there any questions that you would like to ask off of this list?
No, as a matter of fact, there aren't. Carolyn in Newport Richie. Hi, Carolyn. You're on the air, WFLA.
Hello, Robert Lassiter.
Hello, Carolyn.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I don't blame Lionel one bit for being mad at you. He is the king of talk radio call-in.
He's an old, washed-up old hag.
Now, look here.
Captain Jack has replaced him. Mary Ann's coming up fast.
Terrible. And Peggy from Tampa's the queen, and she made the column. The article, why didn't Lionel make it?
Because he's washed up. Oh, yeah.
And one of your callers said that he was a native Tampian. That's not what Lionel is at all. He said himself he was the original tampon, didn't he?
I believe he did.
Of course he did.
He's the only man I know of that has a call waiting in a phone booth.
I know it. But I want to tell you something else. I'm really mad at you today. Your chair is making the most obscene noises. Are you aware of that?
Well, Peggy, I know that you're out of town, or excuse me, Carolyn, I know that you're out of town this week. I believe it was Tuesday. I did virtually my entire show on replacing this chair. Actually, I even had a chair salesman who was listening. His card's still in front of me, as a matter of fact. A young man named Brian Stoll from the St. Timothy Chair Company stopped by to try to sell us one. I tried to talk him into giving us one, and we just didn't seem to hit it off.
Well, that's too bad, because I've never heard anything so obscene in my life. And
I ought to try to sit in the damn thing.
I can imagine. You must get a thrill. I also wanted to tell you that I have retaped a couple of your programs, and I play them back, and when I rewind them, your station is broadcasting subliminal messages underneath all that squeaking. And are you aware of this?
No, I was not.
Well, every 15 minutes it says this is shock radio, and in between I've heard some really raunchy stuff.
Oh, my God.
Phyllis Schlafly sucks, and stuff like that.
Oh.
And if I just...
Shocking.
It is, really, and I just wanted you to know this because I have a feeling that some of these people who are monitoring your program have played these tapes backward, and there's definitely subliminal message coming through there. So I don't know whether I'll be able to listen to you and keep my high standard of morality or not.
It isn't easy. It isn't easy.
You got that right. I'll talk to you later, but I'm not mad because my name wasn't in that article.
Thank you, Carolyn.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Fine woman, far better than Lionel. Far, far better than Lionel. Ann and Brandon, hi, you're on the air. Ann is one of those tasteless people that has one of those sick, disgusting little German cuckoo clocks that are probably made in Taiwan that calls up from time to time, I think it's the second or third time now, to hold the receiver up to the cuckoo clock and play it. Okay, Ron in Seminole Heights, you're on the air, WFLA. Won't mind if I eat tasty pie with you.
No.
Okay.
Long-time listener. First-time caller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Betsy.
Could you do me a favor?
No, I will not go home early, Betsy.
Oh, please not. No, what I need to know is, will you ask Mary, your wife, how she feels about oral copulation?
Oh, we discuss it frequently, Betsy.
Uh-huh. Could you, isn't she on another line somewhere?
No, she isn't.
She isn't?
No.
Well, I just want you to know that you can be a very embarrassing person, and
I can be a very embarrassing person. How's that, Betsy?
well, I called last week, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I had some comments to make about your program, and the first thing you wanted to know was how I felt about oral copulation, and I just want to know how your wife feels about it.
Oh, she's very much in favor of it.
She is.
As a matter of fact, last night we had some oral copulation.
And then you woke up. Have a good.
What do you mean? And then I woke up? No, it was before I went to. No, it was before I went to sleep,
Thank
Betsy.
you, Bob. Bye.
Really, really bums you out that we had some oral copulation last night, doesn't it, Betsy? Copulation, doesn't it, Betsy? Well, we did. Raymond in Clearwater. Hi, Raymond. You're on the air, WFLA. We'll wait for Raymond. We know he's there. Okay, great, Raymond. Love that. Let us next go to Mark in St. Petersburg. Hi, Mark. You're on the air, WFLA.
Hi, Bob. This is Mark in
St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
I can say the town with you.
Okay.
Let's try that again. Charlie in West Tampa.
Hi, Bob. This is Charlie in
West Tampa.
Right. Listen, Bob, I called you last week. I had the decency lady with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you I was going to have some secrets for you.
Yeah?
Bob, you're not going to believe this one.
What?
You got a pencil?
Yeah.
Jot this down. She called me last night.
Yeah?
They got you, Bob.
Well, what do you mean, Charlie?
Write down Mad Dog.
Yeah?
Okay? You got it?
Yeah.
Now read it backwards, Bob.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you ever notice that?
Oh.
They've been working on it. They got you, Bob.
But it's not the same, not the same thing.
Well, I don't know,
It's kind of
Bob.
like saying God's, water blocker.
I don't know, Bob. They're all excited about it, though.
Oh, those people get excited about anything. You should know that. You've been with a decency lady, right? She gets excited real easy.
Yeah, you might say that. Listen, Bob, what I called about was I wanted to put in my boring call for the day.
Yeah.
I was looking through this little book I got here, and Bob, I can't believe this. Did you know that 13 cents out of every dollar that we spend for food goes to packaging?
No.
Yes, it's a fact.
Well, even if you buy, tomatoes loose?
I don't know. That's what worries me, Bob. Maybe it's when they stamp the little word on the bananas or something. I don't know, but Bob, do you know if you spend $10, that's $1.30 goes to packaging?
Yeah, but how about if you peeled the tomatoes? Would they knock 30? This again, and I'm going to say one final time today. It is extremely cruel to the families of those men to keep them alive when there is no indication whatsoever that they are alive. And that ends the conversation, John, not only with you, but for the afternoon. I'll sit here without a call. Harlow in St. Petersburg. Oh, grief.
Hello, Robert.
Yes,
I want to discuss Tom Furberg's discussion about Spuds McKenzie in yesterday's U.S. Senate chambers. I mean, what does he have against that poor little dog? And I don't think any children are influenced by him to drink beer. I mean, I don't know what he's so hepped up about it. Could a T-shirt make you drink anything? Would you drink a cup of coffee that's advertising a certain brand of coffee as an adult? I mean, I don't understand it. Do you?
No, I don't know, but there was a very interesting story about a T-shirt. A woman was wearing a T-shirt in Tibet recently, in the paper this morning anyway, with a picture of Sergeant Bilko on it, and a communist Chinese soldier tried to rip it off her. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, they thought it was the Dalai Lama's picture.
Yeah.
I mean, I laughed at that also, but I mean...
I thought you would have read that story.
I think the Dalai Lama doesn't look like Sergeant Bilko. That's like Phil Silvers. I think there's quite a difference in their appearance. But getting back to the dog, this dog has been... What does he sell against the T-shirts and the children's dolls? I mean, there are so many strange-looking dolls, these horrible-looking monster things. They don't frighten children. They wouldn't make them do anything wrong with them. Why should they drink beer? No more comment about it.
Well, what would you like me to say?
What about Jessica Hahn? What about Jessica Hahn moving into the penthouse playhouse thing in the Playboy Mansion in California? Nothing about that in today's discussions. I was shocked. Nobody mentioned that today.
Well, why would you expect anybody
I
to?
expected maybe that the Bakers would say, see, she's sitting again. She's moving into the Playboy Mansion in California. See, she
I don't
must
think
be
they
a
normally
bad
call the
girl.
program.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with her moving in.
You don't
Anything at all wrong with that. That's why I was wondering. There was no comment from anybody. The Reverend Fowler about her moving in, nothing. But that's her business. Well, Samuel, have a nice day.
Okay.
To my cat, I always enjoy your shows.
All right, Harlow.
Okay, bye.
Okay, between the MIA talk and Harlow, we have cleared the board. Paul in Clearwater. Hi, Paul. You're on air at WFLA.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Radio today, Grim. I even jumped over to listen to The Crazy Englishman. That's real bad, too. He doesn't have a caller at all.
Oh,
anyway, the reason I
doesn't?
called...
Well, let me give out his phone numbers. It's not that bad. Let's see. In Pinellas County, it's 393-0057 over there, and in Hillsborough County, 224-0057.
She got down on her knees and begged me not to. Do you know what she did?
What?
She bought a box of Godiva chocolates, $1 a piece.
Oh, right. $20 a pound, yeah.
God. And she didn't offer me one. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Everybody else, she offered one, and I told her, I said, you're a subhuman pig. She got down on her knees and begged me not to call, and she begged me to take a piece, and I told her, no, I'm going to call Lassiter.
Oh, you should have taken the chocolates and called me. That's what I would have done.
Well, I even opened them and looked at them. But
anybody that teases you with Godiva chocolates,
I mean,
talk about subhuman pigs. Whoa.
She is. I told her I was going to call her that over the airwaves, and she said, well, my father's coming to visit me. Maybe you shouldn't. I don't care. She's a subhuman pig.
Well, anyway, like I said, man, I agree. You don't play games with Godiva chocolates.
No, I mean, I never even heard of them before, but...
You hadn't?
Imported, no, I'm kind of a classless type of guy.
You must be. You poor child. You've gone through all of your life without even hearing of Godiva chocolate?
Not even hearing about them, but then they told me they were handmade, imported German, Swiss chocolate, and she wouldn't even let me taste it for the first time in my 36 years on Earth.
Oh, I mean, talk about food of the gods.
That would move anybody to slap her, but not me. I don't believe in that at all. I just made her feel bad.
Godiva chocolates are where it's at.
What?
Godiva chocolates are where it is at.
Oh, are they? Well, Monday when I see her, I guess I'm going to have to really give her something, boy.
Makes the old mouth water just to think of them.
And all of the people that were there that, aren't as close as we are, everyone ate them all up. She had maybe 2 left out of the box.
Oh, the slut.
I mean, come on. But I had to tell you, too, because I heard you say she was probably an angel, but that just probably dispels...
Well, I have clearly, Paul, I've changed my opinion about Becky. Clearly.
And, I think I did the right thing. I mean, when she got down on her knees and said, please take this, I just stood her up and I said, look, it's too late. You've insulted me. It's over. It's totally over. So, I told her I'd call and all of Tampa Bay would know because obviously no one's listening over on PLP.
Something terrible has just happened earlier this week. Somebody brought me a lemon tasty pie. Some of the guys over at Myra's Amico, I believe it is, or Mira's, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, in St. Petersburg on Haynes Road. And I ate it and neglected to mention it. And they just delivered an entire bag of them. There must be a dozen of them in here, maybe more. All these, lemon tasty pies. I love it. Guys, what can I say?
Hi.
Hi, Faye.
I desperately need a psychic reading.
You desperately need it. Well, I do have my magic keys. I, of course, tossed the keys on the console here. Okay, what is your question?
Okay, should I quit work and find something better? Or if I stay, am I going to get a raise or get fired?
Very good question. Well,
wait a minute. I'm working for a chauvinist pig.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this is the situation. I have tossed the keys onto the console, and the deadbolt key to the house is over the ignition key to the car. As a matter of fact, the doorknob key to the house is over, but not touching the surface of the key to the trunk of the car. This is not a good sign, Faye. This is frankly a very bad sign. My advice to you would be to quit the job and go on welfare.
God, I knew I could count on you. Thank you, Robert.
No problem, Faye.
Bye.
Glad to help you out. Peggy in Clearwater. Hi, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Peggy, and I have a friend here, and they've got a real bad problem.
Yeah.
And they're afraid to talk to you on the phone.
Okay.
Or on the air. Here, hold on a second. Juan, come over here.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm afraid to talk because I think everybody hears me.
How long have you had this problem?
No, that's not my problem.
Oh, I see.
My problem is that...
That's a fear of mine, too. Every time I talk, people hear me.
No, it's not a problem. I come from other country, and it's hard for me to get along, you know? So it's...
Well, hey, I understand that. I come from this country, and it's hard for me to get along.
Well, then you must understand my position.
I do.
You see, I have very bad problem. I came from Argentina. You know where that is, right?
Yes, I do. Somewhat south of Uruguay.
She's making fun of me. I'm sorry. But the problem... Hello?
Yes.
Is everybody listening right now?
Just a handful of people.
Okay, well...
You gotta really, really wonder about those who have stuck through with this so far, but go ahead.
Okay, well, the problem is that I've been into drugs really bad. And
You've been into what?
Drugs.
Drugs, yes.
You know the reds and the hots and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I do them, like, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't talk no more. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Peggy, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I've got a real bad problem.
Many of us do, Peggy. Many of us do. Karen?
In my work situation, and my love life just has ceased to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if maybe you could give me a psychic reading.
Well, sure. I'd be glad to toss the keys for you. Whoa, kind of interesting. You see, the doorknob key is over the deadbolt key, and the trunk and the ignition keys are hardly touching. Very, very good sign. If you go out tonight to a bar, you'll probably meet somebody and take care of that love life problem, and there's a distinct possibility that you may also be offered a position as a topless dancer at the bar.
Oh, that's been one of my fondest dreams. One of my fondest dreams. Could you give another toss and tell me something about work?
Something about work. What do you need to know about work?
Area.
That is incredible. I haven't seen that for a long, long time. All 4 keys are not touching. They all fell independently on the console. This, which I've only read about in books, since I said I've never seen this before, but in books I have read that this is a sign that you will probably get top billing at the topless bar.
Top billing?
Top billing.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, all I can say, Robert, is bless you, and you certainly have made my day.
Oh, it's not me. It's the magic keys.
Oh, well, always keep those magic keys.
I will.
Ciao.
May need them again in the future.
You want to talk about something serious this afternoon? I know it would go entirely against the grain of a Saturday, but I'm sitting here building a radio-controlled airplane, listening to you, and it seems like things are kind of dragging, you know.
Tragic Saturday. One of the most tragic Saturdays of my entire life.
Well, Bob, at least you haven't resorted to bringing in your wrestling group. Now, that's Joseph.
I only do that about once every 6 months. I like Gordon Soley.
No, Bob, you lost a little credibility with me when you let him actually state on the air that wrestling is for real, and you, the one who does not let anything slide by without correcting it, let it slide right by. You were chuckling on the side, though. I know that.
But you must understand, the first time I interviewed Gordon Soley, I believe literally the first question I asked Gordon was, is wrestling rigged? And Gordon's answer to me was, if I said that it was... Well, let me see if I can get this right here, because it was a damn good answer. If I said that it wasn't, you wouldn't believe me. If I said that it was, I would, be putting myself out of work.
Oh, he's got the answers. I mean, if he said it was anything but 100% honest and true, I'd lose credibility in the man. I mean, that's his livelihood, of course. But that's not what I want to talk about.
Just one additional follow-up on this. Have you ever attended a professional wrestling match?
Never.
Well, it's kind of worthwhile because, you see, while the match is going on, the audience is as into it as you can begin to imagine. They truly believe it. But in between matches, they sit there and they laugh about it, and they talk about it. It seems to be one of these deals where the people go back and forth between fantasy and reality, all at the drop of a hat.
Well, I just wish I could get in and write some of the scripts, but it beats Days of Our Lives. I mean, the things they come up with is great.
I always wanted to be a professional wrestler.
I've got another subject.
Oh, okay.
Sir?
a long time ago.
I mean, that's it. The rest of the world's going to hell in a handbasket, but they don't care about that Monday through Friday, so why should they care about it on Saturday?
Because they're out doing their own personal things on Saturday.
About the closest I came to having a hot call was Betsy, who wouldn't stay on the line long enough for me to give her the details of, what happened in bed last night.
Oh, man.
That was my best shot this afternoon, man.
Bob, I'm sorry that things aren't going well for you. You can't
solicit going Jacob? Well.
You can't get Jacob? Well, all right, you
even Jacob, even a couch potato like him is out doing something today. He's probably out passing out pamphlets, come to Jesus or something on the street corner, but even he's not is outside today. It's a great day out there.
It is. It's beautiful. I agree with you. I work outside, so at least I get a little bit of the niceness of it. You have a window?
Unfortunately, yes, which makes it all the worse.
That's like sticking a thorn.
If I didn't have a window, I could at least, fantasize and say, well, it's raining so hard that all the phone lines are down. But I know better. I know better. It's awful. Awful.
Is it that bad, huh?
Just wouldn't believe.
Doesn't hurt your self-esteem, does it?
Oh, you kidding me?
Are you solid as a rock, or does it hurt?
Oh, it's very humiliating. Terribly humiliating. I mean, I'm going to go home and be bummed out for 3 days.
Are there a lot of subhuman pigs?
Oh, just a handful.
Well,
I mean, there aren't even people to call up and hang up before you get to them.
Oh, drag. I'm sorry to hear that.
The people who listen to talk radio on a Saturday, and of course you're not one of them, as you already pointed out, you don't have a radio, are not hip people. They are not hip people, especially Saturday afternoon. Saturday morning, Saturday night, maybe. About once every 2-3 weeks you run into some hip people in the morning or in the evening, depending upon the weather in the morning, but in the afternoon, forget it.
I see your point. Hip people do things on Saturdays.
Right. They go grocery shopping, or they go out and recreate, or they're out, cutting the grass or tilling the garden, whatever it might be.
Right. They're active.
Cruising the mall, trying to pick up bimbos, something, anything.
Makes a person hip. Am I correct on that?
You've got it.
Activity?
And of course, one of the things that this show depends on are young men. And young men...
Like Jacob.
Well, like Jacob. And young men, Monday through Friday, especially in the daytime, are not preoccupied out chasing bimbos. So they, therefore, are available to call in on the show.
Yes.
But on Saturday, all the bimbos are out at the mall, so all of my listeners are out at the mall trying to pick up babes.
Except for those of us who have to work.
Well, of course. All 9 of us.
Isn't it a just terrible working?
If nothing else, there is a strong argument for unions. Because if we had unions, Dan, you and I would be getting time and a half at least, maybe double time, depending upon the contract, for working on Saturday. And bosses like yours and bosses like mine would not be able to take advantage of us. So just for no other reason alone, that's it. We should have unions.
I don't know. I graduated from college, say, about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, 85, 86, something like that.
You must have done a lot of dope.
Why do you say? Because I don't remember?
Right.
Well, Bob, any rate.
I can't even remember if I went to grammar school.
Well, see, that's a lot of dope.
It sure is.
I know about grammar school. I just lost part of college. Any rate, I had a class.
I had some friends in the Merchant Marine, and they used to bring back some wild stuff from the Far East.
You lucky bastard.
Oh, really? Tell me about it. Hello.
This is Shlomo.
Hi, Shlomo.
Yeah, I called for the woman with the 200-pound daughter.
You called with a 200-pound daughter. Howard Hughes already got her, man.
Well, I have some things for her to help her with the food eating.
Yeah.
Lady, if you're listening, just write these things down. I had a son who also had the food problems.
You know she's going for a pencil, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I think the first thing she should do is all of these things should be, most of these things should be after 6 o'clock in the evening, because that's when most people do most of their eating. No sucking down Thai sticks. Okay? She cannot do this after 6 o'clock at night, because that leads to massive eating. Do you agree, Bob?
Well, I've never done that myself, but...
Come on, Bob.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the second thing is, after 6 o'clock, go to the hobby store, the JCPenney, buy a little package of ping pong balls. Have her have ping pong ball in mouth after 6 o'clock at night. Definitely cut down her eating.
Well, it would make it more difficult, but a truly dedicated foodaholic is going to be able to beat that.
It also stretches out the muscles in the mouth. See? Now, also, take pictures of her standing sideways. Paste them all over the refrigerator. This way, when she goes to the refrigerator to eat, she at her side pose, and it must be close, 5 foot, 230.
Shlomo, you don't understand. You see, if you're a foodaholic and somebody does something like that, you look at the picture and you get so damn depressed that all you can do to beat your depression is to eat.
But, Bob, she has a ping pong ball in her mouth.
Now, Shlomo, a true foodaholic, a true foodaholic can suck up a ham and cheese sandwich through the nostrils.
Yes, I know that, because my son was the same way. But you have to understand, this is a comprehensive program. Now, emphasis also...
No, it's not a comprehensive program, Shlomo. It's just a talk show in Tampa Bay on Saturday afternoon.
Now, hold on. I have 3 or 4 more things, and this is it. Masking tape all over fingers.
Yeah, masking tape. Oh, what goes that going to do?
Well, then she can't handle the food.
What do you mean you can't handle the food?
What is she going to do? Put it into the palms of her hand to eat?
Why not?
Because she has a ping pong ball in her mouth.
Oh. You just don't understand. You're probably one of these thin people.
Bob, I'll weigh 375 pounds.
Really?
Yes. Now, learn to chew tobacco. This will definitely make her gross, sick, and bloated. Okay? When she doesn't have the ping pong ball in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Lay off the weed, Bob.
Lay off the weed?
And also, the last thing.
Yeah?
Chew tobacco, lay off the weed.
How you going to chew tobacco? Wait a minute. How you going to chew tobacco if you got ping pong balls?
If she wears tight underwear, she will lose her appetite.
Everybody who's fat wears tight underwear. How are you going to possibly chew chewing tobacco with ping pong balls in your mouth?
I don't wear underwear at all, Bob.
Obviously a Shlomo.
Me?
Yes. Ooh. I mean, if you try to chew chewing with ping pong balls are fragile. They're going to break as soon as you start chomping.
U.S.-made ping pong balls, not the ones from Korea.
Shlomo.
Yes, Bob.
The ping pong ball industry left this country over 9 years ago.
9 years?
Yes.
It was only 7.
Thanks a lot, Shlomo. What a fraud. What a fraud. Man has no idea what he's talking about. Anna Maria Island?
Bob?
Yes.
Mayor Cagnina, City of Anna Maria.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
That's why I owe the pleasure.
I'm not calling to be pleasant. By saying that.
Yeah.
Bob, Anna Maria Island.
That's nice things about Anna Maria.
Anna Maria Island is a beautiful place.
It certainly is.
You need to know that Anna Maria consists of 3 cities, not one. The city of Anna Maria, Bradenton Beach, and Holmes Beach. Bob, last Saturday, or the Saturday before, you said to Dred Webb on your show that Anna Maria was your favorite place.
It is. I think it's what Florida should be.
You've caused irreparable harm, Bob, to our community. Our council met last night in special session.
Don't tell me 3 little old ladies in tennis shoes called up and said that they would never visit Anna Maria Island again, right? Because I endorsed it?
No, Bob, that's not it.
Oh.
We just hold you and FLA personally liable for the damage you caused our peaceful island community. Let me tell you what your statements resulted in.
Oh, my God, what, Mayor?
Thousands of brain-dead Yankees clogged our roads, beaches, and our restaurants. Bob, these people are bothering our islanders. They're walking up and giving their complete biographies on the beach, person after person.
Oh, God, they're not showing pictures, too, are they?
Bob, they got pictures of their grandkids. They're saying, hello, we're Mr. and Mrs. Henry Willis. We're from Ohio. Bob, they're parking 40-foot Airstream travel trailers all over the island. They're blocking driveways. They're parking on our sidewalks, Bob. They're running cars and bicyclists off the road. Our police have been overwhelmed by accident investigation because you said Anna Maria Island was a nice place to visit.
Well, it's better than a nice place to visit. Mary and I all frequently talk about renting a house there just to, use it for the weekends.
Bob, please. They go to our restaurants. They refuse to tip, or they tip embarrassingly low sums. 25 cents, Bob, for a $15 lunch. We had a great
Canadian or U.S.?
We had a great... Canadian! They're the worst. They tip. They use Canadian coin, usually Canadian pennies.
Well, you could at least collect them all from the island's inhabitants. You could probably build an artificial reef with them. At least improve fishing.
Bob, Bob, I can't even drive my car on the road. You know, you single-handedly destroyed what was once a nirvana.
But Mayor, this was totally innocent on my part because I assumed that a brain-damaged snowbird couldn't figure out how to get to Anna Maria Island.
Bob, it takes about an hour and a half from central Pinellas County. You know it and I know it, and our attorneys know that, and they intend to be in touch with you and your station.
Oh, Mayor, what can I possibly do?
You've got one way out.
What, Mayor?
You start on your show, and we hope you do this on a regular basis. Maybe you could make it a tape and you could play it every hour. Begin discouraging these brain-dead Yankees. Launch a campaign publicizing the faults of our island. And let me tell you what those faults are. Large mosquitoes.
Oh, very large. Very large.
Unpleasant natives.
Oh, some of the meanest people.
Lousy restaurants.
People. Women that don't put out.
Lousy restaurants, too, Bob. You know, we have a restaurant down here that says warm beer and lousy food.
I know.
Strong currents, Bob. Dangerous shark-infested waters. That's Anna Maria, folks. The stingray capital of Florida.
Plus, the entire place has been paved over in asphalt.
It's all asphalt, Bob. There's not a tree on the island. Unsafe streets and high crime.
$55 daily beach use fee.
We've got it, Bob. You know the toll.
Nearest parking is in Sarasota.
That's right. Bob, you got to walk 6 miles to see any sand. And you know the shops? Go to our shops, I dare you. If you think Redondo Drive or Palm Beach has expensive shops, come on down, folks. Bob, let me tell you about the unusually long rainy season. June through May.
And that brings out the rattlesnakes because it floods and the rattlesnakes try to get into the hotel rooms to get to dry land.
Bob, and worst of all, the drug trade down here is dangerous. All night long you hear gunshots, planes landing, bales of marijuana killing people falling from the sky.
Well, Mayor, that might encourage some of my listeners, so let's try to, go off onto another, a mean jail.
Bob, the jail is tough. Let me tell you something. We still have the road gangs. If your car is ticketed in this town, we got a road gang. You'll be out there clipping palmetto bush and picking up rattlesnakes off the side of the road.
Well, when did you guys start ticketing cars? Because when I was last there, the police were carrying sledgehammers and would smash in your windshield if you were parked illegally.
Bob, you can't smash every window in these 400 or 500 Airstreams that we've had for the last 2 weeks parked on these streets. We've been towing them out of here, and as fast as we tow them out of here, they pull them back in.
You've been dumping them right in the harbor, right?
Absolutely. Bob, I'll tell you what. It's your choice. Either you put the word out about the city of Anna Maria, the island of Anna Maria, and our 3 cities down here, and you tell people, stay away at all costs. We have lousy beaches and dangerous waters and mean people. Bob, it's going to be legal action on the part of our city against you and WFLA.
Well, Mayor, all I can say is I don't take very kindly to threats, Mayor, so I'm going to sit here while you're still on the phone and tell everybody that wants to go to Anna Maria Island that everything that we have just said is not true. It is a gorgeous place. And to get to Anna Maria, you go north to Newport Richey and turn right at Newport Richey and just follow the road.
That's State Road 54.
Right.
Bob, you do an irreparable harm to our community. But if the folks are going to come, State Road 54 is the most direct route to Anna Maria Island. You're correct.
That's correct. That's correct. Turn left at Newport Richey. Heading north. If you're heading south, turn right at Newport Richey.
Thank you, Bob.
You're quite welcome, Mayor. My pleasure.
Goodbye.
All right. Let's go next to Del in Sarasota. Hi, Del.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Listen, I gotta say, I live in Sarasota, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Anna Maria Island is a great place to go. I think all the Yankees from Sarasota ought to go to Anna Maria Island because I can't stand them. You know what I'm saying?
Yankees in Sarasota?
Oh, yeah, we got them.
You're kidding me.
Huh?
You're kidding me.
No, sir, we got them. We got more than they got.
Sarasota's not hip enough for people from the north.
It ain't.
No.
What the hell are they doing here then? You know what I mean?
Probably looking for the road over to Anna Maria Island.
That's true. Well, all they got to do is come to me and I'll tell them how to get there. But what I wanted to call about is I think you and your wife should incorporate the ping pong balls somewhere into what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, well, we tried that. It didn't quite work out.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, I figure you should talk more about that because I'm out painting my house.
Mary kept dropping the paddle.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I just thought maybe you'd like to talk a little more about that because you said you wanted to talk about it and I didn't hear anything more about it.
Well, I would have discussed it with Betsy.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, maybe your wife can get on there and I'll call her and she can talk to me.
I wonder if Betsy knows that she was on Channel 44 last week with that very call that she was referring to. And everybody in the entire area heard her.
Uh-huh. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did.
Great call.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it.
Especially when she said, that stinks.
Uh-huh. Well, that's the kind of, things you get Saturday afternoon, right?
No, it sure is, Del.
Uh-huh.
Sure is.
All right, listen, have a good day, Bob.
I'll try.
All right.
Take care.
A chain of drugstores throughout Florida here that have use a metal detector or tag detectors. When you go out of the store, they go off if you're shoplifting, that type of thing. Are you aware of that?
Are you referring to Eckerd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, had an incident that happened to me last week. It actually wasn't to me. I have a father that's 84 years old. He lives 2 blocks from the drugstore, and he goes there shopping for his prescription drugs and what have you. He also smokes tobacco, and he buys his tobacco pouches there at Eckerd's. Well, come his birthday, I buy him a can of tobacco, and he uses the old pouches to put in to carry in his pocket. Last week, he goes in there to shop, buys his prescription medicine, goes walking out the door, and the alarm goes off. They make him empty out his pockets, detain him for 20 minutes. The guy runs a sensor across his pocket, and lo and behold, the tobacco pouch is ringing. They pull the tobacco pouch out. The tobacco pouch is marked $1.36. The current price on the tobacco pouches are $1.68. And you can obviously tell that this thing has been used for 3 or 4 months now. And needless to say, that made him a nervous wreck. I go over there and I talk to him. And I say, well, that's the system that we use. We have to have it. And things like this happen. It seems to me that if I had been thinking about this, I have been in the store there when the system hasn't been working, and if the detector's not working, then they cut off the demagnetizer on the counter, and all the merchandise that are purchased that day are not demagnetized. Well, if a lady buys a tube of lipstick and puts it in her purse and then goes in there shopping a month later and the thing goes off, it's a hassle. It just doesn't seem to me like it's a very workable system. I just like to have your opinion on it. I'm really upset about my father because he's been a nervous wreck ever since that happened to him.
Well, judging from what you tell me, assuming that, of course, it's all true, if I were you, I'd see an attorney. And I'm damn serious.
I've been thinking about doing that. I really have. Because the man did buy the tobacco pouch, like I said, 3 or 4 months before that happened, and then for them to make him empty out his pocket and everything in front of everybody, it just upset me. Well,
I can well understand from the point of the store wanting to cut down on shoplifting. I suppose it also helps keep track of your employees marching merchandise out the door. I can well understand that, but the store is going to have to make a very difficult decision as to whether or not it is worth possible legal ramifications from hassling old people, or young people as far as that goes, and what they might lose walking out the door.
Yes, sir.
And if I were you, from the story that you tell me, I would certainly see if we couldn't show them the errors of their ways.
I'm thinking along those lines. Anyway, listen, I wanted to tell you...
You're damn lucky it wasn't me they tried to stop and frisk. Damned lucky.
I used to listen to you at the other station, and I listen to you now, and I enjoy your show very much.
It's in Pinellas. No, it's not. It's in Hillsboro. 461. So I'm giving you the Pinellas number. There's a line open. Figure out where the hell it is. I just want to get out of here this afternoon. 3:38 the time. Charlie in West Tampa. Hi, Charlie. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Robert. Charlie in West Tampa.
Yeah, you're supposed to, give me a break there, in between the name and the town so that I can say the town with you.
Okay.
Let's try that again. Charlie in West Tampa.
Hi, Bob. This is Charlie in
West Tampa.
Right. Listen, Bob, I called you last week. I had the decency lady with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you I was going to have some secrets for you.
Yeah?
Bob, you're not going to believe this one.
What?
You got a pencil?
Yeah.
Jot this down. She called me last night.
Yeah?
They got you, Bob.
Well, what do you mean, Charlie?
Write down Mad Dog.
Yeah?
Okay? You got it?
Yeah.
Now read it backwards, Bob.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you ever notice that?
Oh.
They've been working on it. They got you, Bob.
But it's not the same not the same thing.
Well, I don't know.
It's kind of like saying God's water blocker.
I don't know, Bob. They're all excited about it, though.
Oh, those people get excited about anything. You should know that. You've been with a decency lady, right? She gets excited real easy.
Yeah, you might say that. Listen, Bob, what I called about was I wanted to put in my boring call for the day.
Yeah.
I was looking through this little book I got here, and Bob, I can't believe this. Did you know that 13 cents out of every dollar that we spend for food goes to packaging?
No.
Yes, it's a fact.
Well, even if you buy, tomatoes loose?
I don't know. That's what worries me, Bob. Maybe it's when they stamp the little word on the bananas or something. I don't know, but Bob, do you know if you spend $10, that's $1.30 goes to packaging?
Yeah, but how about if you peeled the tomatoes? Would they knock 13 cents off?
I don't know. I'm going to check into this, Bob. I'm not too happy about this. 13 cents out of $1. But anyways, listen, Bob.
God, I wish you had called that, at the beginning of the show. We could have probably done the whole show on that.
Well, I had to see how it was going, Bob. I wanted to listen to this, Bob.
Yeah.
These are telephones. Listen, do you know that the average person makes 1,111 calls per year? Isn't that exciting?
Well, Lionel does.
Isn't that exciting, Bob?
Yeah.
And most people hold the phone to their left ear. Do you hold the phone to your left ear, Bob?
No, I'm right-handed.
Really? Well,
it would be, rather awkward reaching over there.
Are these neat, Bob?
Yeah.
Listen to this. In Sweden, the phone books, they list the people by their jobs, Bob.
You're kidding.
How would you like that?
Listed by your job?
Yeah, these are facts. I'm not making these up. That would be real neat, Bob. You'd be listed under a shock or something.
Yeah, it would be very difficult to figure out how to list me.
Well, okay, last one. The odds, when you call somebody, the odds against getting a busy signal is 8.9 to 1.
Huh.
So I figured I'd let you know that stuff, Bob, and maybe, we can get some opinions on that stuff.
Hey, I can well see why you and Decency Lady hit it off.
Oh, yeah, Bob, she's changed me a lot. But listen, Bob, I'm getting secrets, though. I'm learning this stuff now. I just wanted to call and warn you.
Any day now you'll be able to get your own talk show with facts like that.
No, thanks, Bob.
Oh, okay, Charlie.
I'd prefer to listen to you.
Thank you, Charlie.
See ya.
Bye. Well, let us next go to Mark in St. Petersburg. Hi, Mark. You're on the air, WFLA.
Hi, Bob. This is Mark in
St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
To Anna Maria Island we go. This time for Councilman George McKay. Councilman, are you there?
Good afternoon, Bob.
Well, what can I do for you, sir?
Well, unfortunately, our mayor has forgotten a few important facts of life as far as regards to living on Anna Maria Island that I deem necessary to bring forth to the people who are considering either visiting or, as you indicated, possibly residing in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Among those, they need to know that Manatee County's sewage outfall pipe is right off our coast. Therefore, Manatee County itself is dumping raw sewage into the Gulf of Mexico. And if that isn't a deterrent, if they don't mind getting a disposable diaper in the face while diving into one of our nice waves, well, then come on down. And then, of course, you always have our birds. We have millions of birds. We're a bird sanctuary. I suggest they all wear old clothing.
Or perhaps whalers.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would suggest that much. And by all means, beware of the broken glass on the beach.
Broken glass on the beach, Councilman?
Oh, yeah. We encourage people to have beer parties down there all the time. And we've had several gangs of youth down there partaking of this... of our beautiful beach. And
well, don't forget the notorious Anna Maria Island chapter of Hell's Angels.
Oh, yes. Oh, we accommodate them well. They use our beaches all they want and make sure they break the bottles. Don't just throw them into the Gulf of Mexico. Break them before you leave. That is important. Oh, Bob.
Councilman, people might get the impression that you're discouraging.
No, we want to be honest. We want to be upfront with people. Well, we're not trying to discourage anybody from coming to the island, but we don't want them to feel, you've misled the people somewhat. As the mayor said, we are considering a lawsuit against FLA for radio station encouraging people to come down there, and we don't want them to to be misled in believing that our community is utopia, is going to help them escape all their worldly problems. If you know what I mean, Bob.
Yeah, yes, I do, Councilman. And you're quite right in pointing out that I was remiss and clearly misleading in indicating that it was a decent place to go to.
I know, and having seen you on the television, Bob, and having heard you tell the mayor that you had considered residing in our neighborhood, you ought to realize that, you are somewhat of a large person.
Well, I fit right in with the motorcycle gang.
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, they're willing to live out on the beach, but if you're going to try to put a roof over your head, you ought to consider the fact that, we're plumb out of space. We've covered the island with parking lots and then housing, and I don't know if there's a house on the island big enough to hold you and your wife, quite frankly. But
well, that is one of the things that discouraged us. We had been down there looking around, and it was the rents starting at $12,000 a month were a bit steep for us.
Well, they've been coming down a little bit,
Well, I understand they are down to what, about 11.8 now?
I guess we have to, Reagan's economic policies can attribute to that. But hey, tell me something. I'm just running a little survey. Were you sprayed with DDT before you entered the island? We had a canker outbreak, and anybody coming in or out of the island is sprayed with DDT. Were you?
Well, no, frankly, because the last time I was on Anna Maria would be about 5-6 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it was in the spring, the late spring.
Okay, let me make a note here to get in touch with our state agricultural department and lodge a complaint. Did you hit any of our potholes, or did you step in any of the sand spurs?
Well, I'm really glad you brought that up, Councilman, because I was wondering if I have some type of action against you for that broken axle.
Well, you possibly might have an action. Please send it in. We try to post those at our city hall so people can see what it. Oh, was your wife's purse snatched, by the way?
No, but she wasn't carrying one that day.
Did you take advantage of the $50 bounty on any of the brain-dead tourists, or the $25 out-of-state tourist capture a license plate, take it to the library? You didn't partake of any of that.
I didn't know you had that. Well, Councilman, unfortunately, I'm out of time for this hour. Perhaps next Saturday we could continue this.
Okay, Bob. Enjoy your show.
Thank you, George.
Please, take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, I swear mercifully we have come to an end. We'll do it again on Monday in all probability, unless somebody catches on.